Hello and welcome to the National Environmental Health Association Virtual Town Hall. My name is Jonna Ashley and I'm NEHA's membership manager. I will be popping in periodically to guide you through various stages of today's event. Due to the number of members who were invited to the town hall, we're unable to take comments live through YouTube. However, if you have questions during the town hall, please email me and I will do my best to respond. My email, which you will see later on your screen, is jasley@neha.org. Now, without further ado, I am pleased to introduce NEHA's Board of Director President, Sandra Long.
Good afternoon, and thank you for taking the time to attend this event. The Town Hall is an event that is normally held during the annual educational conference and exhibition. As you know, the 2020 AEC was canceled due to COVID-19 pandemic. Because the Town Hall is an important opportunity for our members to hear from the NEHA leadership, we've decided to hold the Town Hall as a virtual event. The first item on our agenda is the annual State of the Association report. It will be delivered by NEHA's immediate past president, Dr. Priscilla Oliver. Following Dr. Oliver's report, we will be honoring two of NEHA's most prestigious award recipients, the Walter F. Snyder Award winner and the Walter S. Mangold Award winner. I'll return to introduce you to the 2020-2021 NEHA Board of Directors. Then NEHA's members manager, Jonna Ashley, will conduct a question and answer session. Jonna has collected questions and we will be answering those live. Her email is on the screen. It's jasley@neha.org. Please enjoy the following presentation by Dr. Priscilla Oliver.
My name is Dr. Priscilla Oliver, and I am your first Black female president, now immediate past president, of the National Environmental Health Association 2019-2020. I'm a retired life scientist from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency with 45 years and 7 months of service. I'm a member of the National Environmental Health Sciences and Protection Accreditation Council, and I'm a graduate of the University of Alabama with a Bachelor of Science degree in biology and a graduate of Georgia State University with a master's in public administration and a PhD in educational and health administration. First, we would like to give gratitude to our 6,500 members of NEHA. Throughout the COVID-19 crisis, membership renewals have stayed very strong. This is a testament to our dedication to the association and to the field of environmental health. We are focusing on bringing members the education, information, and resources that you need to be successful in your career. We also want to highlight the work that you do every day through blog stories, awards, and leadership opportunities. Now, some of the things that I have accomplished in my presidency, which I'd like to share with you right now, is that I focus mainly on students, young people, mid-career professionals, and also senior professionals, which includes retirees. We created a more viable student and young professionals committee with the aid of past President Brian Collins. We also appointed some 70 technical expert advisors in environmental health with diverse backgrounds from all over the country. Please visit the monthly journal and contact these persons accordingly. Now, the board has joined me in the creation of the NEHA History Task Force, which you should read about in the upcoming journal. We created a sick, bereavement, and memorial committee with some guidelines. to recognize our members and friends that are sick, bereaved, or have passed on. We also created the National Environmental Health Association Dr. Bayless Walker Jr. Diversity and Inclusion Award. Please look for that. There's also going to be a creation of the Friends of NEHA membership category in honor of Chris Katisky, who is a faithful leader at the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. He and Dr. Bayless Walker both died from COVID-19 recently. I also was able to complete 10 presidential columns in the Journal of Environmental Health, and I completed some 7 speaking engagements around the country and in Jamaica before the COVID hit. Now, in December 2019, we began to test online credential applications. Online applications will allow 24/7 access to applications, the progress of the application, and the status. The online applications eliminate antiquated paper-based processing. They enable targeted marketing, ensuring outreach to individuals obtaining and renewing their credentials. January 1st, 2020 marked the transition of all state license exams to online format. Some 16 states use the NEHA REHS exam as their testing instrument, and now all 16 states operate under uniform test delivery and pricing. The success of this effort is largely in communicating and working with each state to develop a mutual beneficial partnerships. In February 2020, the first workshop kicked off to update the REHS exam blueprint. The blueprint specifies content covered in the exam and is periodically updated by subject matter experts so that we can remain relevant and accurate. It takes approximately 3 to 4 workshops over the course of a year to update, rewrite, and validate exam content. The updated REHS exam is planned for release in December 2020. An exam blueprint update for the CCFC credential is also planned. Amid rapid changing platforms for accomplishing the work and professional development is always on our forefront. Remote proctoring, virtual exam development workshops, and an overall move to eliminate paper-based processing is the focus for the next 6 months. The year began with 13 FDA courses scheduled to be delivered, training around 650 regulatory retail food professionals. The large share of those courses were canceled in March when COVID-19 swept the country. Over the next 5 months, NEHA worked closely with FDA officials to redesign the courses to be interactive, live, multi-day courses delivered through the internet. The first course was delivered the week of July 20th, 2020. FDA has announced that all training for 2021 for the Office of Training, Education, and Development will be delivered virtually. So NEHA will continue to develop online live courses. Stay-at-home orders across the country have made a positive impact on professional and personal educational advancement. There are 200 online CPFS courses sold since 2019 and 187 CPFS study guides available. While textbook sales for food manager training declined due to cancellation of classes, online sales for NEHA self-paced learning has grown. The new online offerings launched in 2020 in response to the new and unique challenges of the coronavirus. Just-in-time training for NEHA are short topic that are special resources that can help the regulators describe guidance and possible solutions to issues surrounding and inspecting farmers markets, FDA food product labeling during the COVID-19 outbreak, and communicating in stressful situations. This year, we received funding as a member of the new Retail Food Safety Regulatory Association Collaborative with the Association of Food and Drug Officials, the National Association of County and City Health Officials, and the Conference for Food Protection to work towards a reduction in foodborne illnesses by way of programs offered to state, local, tribal, and territorial health departments. NEHA leads a vector program committee comprised of vector control and vector-borne disease experts who advise us on emerging issues and the professional needs. We also identify best practices and the new development of a vector program. We want to keep it updated. With the help of this committee, a new series of webinars, infographics, and web content on vector control in the time of COVID-19 were developed. The National Environmental Health Internship Program was almost shut down this year due to COVID-19. Yet, we were able to quickly redesign the program into a complete virtual experience, pairing environmental health undergraduates and graduate students with local health departments to build statistical analysis skills, helping students understand regulatory compliance tools, and helping them to learn how to conduct environmental health inspections. We want to build their future with professional networks, so we did not let COVID-19 stop the process. This included purchasing GoPro cameras to record inspections to share with interns and students. NEHA is actively monitoring the COVID virus outbreak and creating timely and up-to-date resources for environmental health professionals. We have created a comprehensive COVID-19 website with resources and recommendations for environmental health professionals to address the outbreak. This includes articles, online forums, and more. We are continuing to roll out our live chat webinar series focusing on the impact of COVID-19 on various aspects of the environmental health workforce, such as vector control, food safety, premier plumbing, use of limited and PPE, the impact of hospitality, travel, and tourism. Additionally, we received COVID-19 supplemental funding from CDC to lead a collaborative partnership organization to develop resources supporting early childhood care and education facilities by providing guidance and resources to support preparedness, response, and recovery needs related to the pandemic. NEHA has been active this spring ensuring environmental health is recognized during the COVID-19 response. We have engaged with public health partners in signing over 15 letters to Congress and the administration on environmental health and COVID-19. NEHA supported Congress's effort to increasing funding for CDC's National Center for Environmental Health, the Agency for Toxic Diseases and Substances Registry, and for the FDA food safety efforts. This fall, NEHA will begin its effort to draft transition papers on environmental health priorities for the administration when it begins the term in January 2021. The Journal of Environmental Health, which I am extremely proud of, completed its 82nd year of print, which included the publication of 32 peer-reviewed articles, a guest editorial on COVID-19, and columns around NEHA's leadership, from the president and the executive director, and 8 different agencies and organizations. New this year was the addition of columns from NEHA's affiliates and Eco America. Other organizations and agencies that provide columns in the journal are AAS, AHAP, CDC, Environmental Health Services, ATSDR, ACELA, and NCSL. The journal is distributed electronically and by way of mail to approximately 6,500 people for each issue. In fiscal year 2019, NEHA returns exceeded expenses by $420,000. $420,790. NEHA has a clean audit. The majority of NEHA's proceeds, about 64%, come from grants and contracts. Only 6% of our income comes from memberships dues, and 11% comes from our AEC. We are pleased to coordinate and host the NEHA Digital Defense Education for a Safe World virtual conference and exhibit on August 18th and 19th, 2020. This 2-day virtual conference will focus on food and water safety and will examine various impacts and lasting implications of the COVID-19 pandemic. International experts from Australia, England, Wales, Portugal, and the US will be presenting the keynote address, How Are Environmental Health Professionals Internationally Ensuring Safety and Health During COVID-19? Closing remarks will be delivered by Frank Yanis, Deputy Commissioner for Food Policy and Response, FDA, and Dr. Pat Bricey from CDC, National Center for Environmental Health, Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry. This virtual conference is in alliance with the FDA Retail Food Seminar. We hope that you will attend. Unfortunately, NEHA had to make a difficult but necessary decision to cancel the 2020 AEC in New York City in order to prioritize the health of our members attendees, partners, presenters, contractors, students, and staff. All attendees, sponsors, and exhibitors were given full refunds or an option to transfer that registration to the 2021 AEC in Spokane, Washington. This was a decision that was made by our board of directors of NEHA. NEHA thanks everyone for their understanding in this decision, and we look forward to sharing our lessons learned the next time we meet at the 2021 AEC. Please join us for the 2021 AEC and exhibit in Spokane, Washington, July 12th through the 15th. We hope to bring environmental health professionals together once again to collaborate and share lessons learned while focusing on the 2021 theme, Together a Safer and Healthier Tomorrow. Now, my focus this year was on One NEHA, and I want to leave you with that. With the advent of the pandemic and racism response that we had to comply with, had to think about and react to, as NEHA president, I am asking all of you to consider One NEHA. Let's care about each other, and let's move forward to a brighter future for environmental health. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Oliver, for that comprehensive overview of NEHA's work. Now we are going to take just a few minutes to honor two of our most prominent 2020 award recipients. First, you'll hear from NSF International about the Walter F. Snyder Award winner, and then you will hear from the Kentucky Environmental Health Association on the Walter S. Mangold Award winner.
Hi everyone, I am Stan Hazen with NSF International, and I'm here to present the 2020 Walter F. Snyder Award on behalf of NEHA and NSF. The Snyder Award honors the first executive director and co-founder of the National Sanitation Foundation back in 1944. This year, we are delighted to present this award to Dr. Joe Catruvo in recognition of 45 years of service and dedication to protecting environmental health. Dr. Catruvo's personal mission as a clean water crusader includes 23 years as director of the US EPA's Criteria and Standards Division in the Office of Drinking Water, and as director of the Risk Assessment Division in Toxic Chemicals at EPA, where he actively participated in the development of NSF's Drinking Water Standards 60 and 61. Dr. Catruvo joined NSF International as a senior regulatory executive around 1998, and later as NSF Vice President of Environmental Health Sciences, where he helped to advance the NSF World Health Organization Collaborating Center for Drinking Water. I remember when we welcomed Joe to NSF to head up our newly formed WHO Collaborating Center and to lead NSF's Washington, D.C. office as one of the country's leading drinking water experts. He solidified NSF as a public health resource among many of the regulatory bodies and professional associations based in the capital and around the world. Joe was a driving force behind the launch of NSF's series of drinking water quality conferences that attracted major support from EPA, AWWA, ASDWA, WHO, and many industry and professional water groups. A strong voice for fact-based science, he sought and achieved consensus on a variety of drinking water standards and issues. From his early days at EPA, where he initiated the Drinking Water Health Advisory Program, through his time with NSF International and beyond, Dr. Catruvo has been at the forefront of national drinking water regulations and health risk assessments, which have helped to safeguard human health and safety for for decades. So on behalf of NSF President Kevin Lawler, NEHA Executive Director Dave Dijak, NEHA President Sandra Long, and myself, Dr. Katruvo, we're honored to present you with the 2020 Snyder Award. Thank you, Joe.
Greetings from the beautiful mountains of Eastern Kentucky. I'm Clint Pinion, the President-elect of the Kentucky Environmental Health Association, also known as KEHA. The KEHA Executive Board of Membership, along with the Department of Environmental Health Science at Eastern Kentucky University, would like to congratulate our friend and colleague, Dr. Carolyn Harvey, on being recognized as the 2020 Walter S. Mangold Award recipient. Dr. Harvey dedicated her 50-plus year career to promoting the field of environmental and occupational health science. From working in industry to educating future EHS professionals, Dr. Harvey has continued to highlight the importance of sanitarians to our communities. Through her involvement in the National Environmental Health Association, KEHA, the National Environmental Health Science and Protection Accreditation Council, and the Association of Environmental Health Academic Programs, she has mentored countless emerging professionals and has volunteered countless hours. Her professionalism is only trumped by her compassionate heart and her giving nature. The Kentucky Environmental Health Association's Executive Board membership counts itself truly lucky to call Dr. Carolyn Harvey a friend. We will continue to keep her in our thoughts and prayers, and we wish her a speedy recovery. Personally, I know Dr. Harvey as a former professor, my mentor, my friend, and colleague, and I can tell you that she exemplifies the characteristics of the Mangold Award. Her career has been dedicated to improving the profession for the rest of us, and she truly has always been a trailblazer. Congratulations, Dr. Harvey. You deserve this award. Your career and your life exemplifies selflessness and true dedication to the environmental and occupational health profession.
Thank you and congratulations to our 2020 award winners. We really hope to be able to honor you in person as well as our other 2020 award winners in 2021 in Washington at the AEC. Now I'm going to hand it back to Sandra Long, who's going to introduce you to the 2021 NEHA Board of Directors.
I'm pleased to introduce to you the 2021 NEHA Board officers. President Sandra Long, President-elect Roy Kroger, First Vice President Dr. Gary Brown, Second Vice President Tom Butts, Immediate Past President Dr. Priscilla Oliver. NEHA's RVPs represent the 9 regions throughout the United States and abroad, as well as serve as liaisons to our affiliate community. The 2021 regional vice presidents are representing Region 1 with the states of Alaska, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington, Frank Brown. Region 2 representing Arizona, California, Hawaii, and Nevada, Michelle DiMaggio. Region 3 representing Colorado, Montana, Utah, Wyoming, and non-uniformed service members residing outside of the U.S., Rochelle Blackham. Region 4, representing Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wisconsin, Kim Carlton. Region 5, representing Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, Missouri, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas, Tracy Michelson. Region 6, representing Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, and Ohio, Nikki Lemon. Region 7, representing Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee, Tim Hatch. Region 8, representing Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Washington, D.C., West Virginia, and NEHA members of the U.S. Uniformed Service residing outside of the U.S., Lieutenant Commander James Speckhart. Region 9, representing Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, and Vermont, Larry Ramden. Now I'll return you to Jonna Ashley for the question and answer session.
Okay, everyone, we have reached the portion of the town hall where NEHA's board and staff are here and available to answer your questions. We asked you to submit questions in advance to me, and we have a lineup of 8 wonderful questions. I was really impressed with the caliber of the questions that we received from you all this year, and I hope that we can do them justice. So our first question comes in from a uniformed service member in New York. He was about to sit for the RAHS-RS exam just before things closed down due to the pandemic. His question is, what are the options for people to sit for a credential exam if the testing centers in their state are closed, or if they are not comfortable going to a testing center because of COVID-19? And I am giving this question to our credentialing manager, Sarah Hoover.
Thanks, Jonna. Yeah, this is a great question, and my answer to this specific individual is to reach out and contact us, contact credentialing, contact me personally. We are dealing with situations on a case-by-case basis. For the most part, we are seeing people test at the testing centers, and we are back to figures that we were seeing right around or before COVID. So for the most part, from a national worldwide perspective, we are still seeing a reasonable volume of testing. However, I realize that there are some places that do have different requirements and closures and openings and availabilities and whatnot. So the best course of action right now is to just reach out, because we do want to work with people. We are mindful of, what someone's comfort level is of going into an examination location. I can tell you that the computer testing centers are following CDC guidelines, and our interaction with them and the support that they've given us have been encouraging. So that could be a course of action, but like I said, just reach out and contact us and we'll work through your specific requirement. And also on average, we are extending the deadline. So computer tests were scheduled for a year and they would expire. So we're usually extending those out 90 days to kind of hopefully couch some of this closures and the restrictions around operations. But other than that, as mentioned earlier, we are looking at remote proctoring, and as soon as we can roll that out, we would like to make remote proctoring available to people as another convenience.
Okay, thanks so much, Sarah. Our next question comes in from one of our international members in Great Britain. Their question is, what information and resources does NEHA have related to Legionnaire's disease? And should members expect any new resources addressing the changing responses to Legionnaires during the COVID-19 pandemic? And the best person to answer this question is Jesse Bliss. He's our Director of Program and Partnership Development.
Thank you, Jonna. It's a great question. Legionella is a critical topic area in environmental health, something we've been working on for many years. And we have resources and events that have been targeting this important issue. It's one of our topics on our main webpage, as well as we have co-hosted an annual Legionella conference with the National Science Foundation, Health Sciences, each year, trying to make sure and look at most recent research and activities around this important activity. As it comes to the impacts of COVID and possible other issues, we have been working for months on horizon scanning and looking into the future to see as things begin to open back up. So previous to April, we were in conversations around what these horizon issues might be. And Legionella is one of the ones that we looked at early on, related to premise plumbing, where stagnant pipes and biofilm can amplify Legionella and create an opportunity for more infection as people come back into buildings and air handling systems are turned back on after periods of inactivity. So we had our second installment of our live chat series where we talked about premise plumbing and looking at Legionella. And we continue to work very closely with our long-standing partners and EH professionals, scientists, and researchers at the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta, as well as with faculty and scientists, researchers from Purdue University. This is an area we're going to continue to be monitoring, and we have provided resources on our new COVID website where we have the live chat series, and you can look for more information there.
Thank you, Jesse. Our next question is a two-part question that comes in from a member and an REHS holder in Arizona. The first part is NEHA planning on deferring credential renewal requirements during the pandemic since environmental health conferences eligible for CE hours have been canceled? And this one actually is going to go to Sarah Hoover again.
Hi again. Thank you. Yes, the question about continuing education is an important one, and we're seeing quite a lot of questions about continuing education. I can speak to the NEHA continuing education requirements, keeping in mind that if you have a state-specific credential or license, it may have different criteria for what is acceptable continuing education. But mainly, the reason that we have continuing education in the first place is to ensure that our licensed professionals maintain and keep up with what technology and knowledge is going on in their fields. So it is very, very important to have that continuing education aspect as part of your certification to make sure that you're keeping up with what's currently going on, and that, once you take that initial exam, you're maintaining and expanding your knowledge to help the professional field. So to that aim, we are not planning on any special relinquishing or easing up of our continuing education requirements. But that being said, I just would like to break it down for people. Our continuing education requirements are 24 hours over the course of 2 years. So that breaks down to about 1 hour per month if you're able to do that. And I do realize that, there are time constraints and resource constraints that everyone's facing right now. But as far as what's eligible for continuing education with NEHA, it's conferences, seminars, classes, lectures, online trainings, etc., that are related to the environmental health field. So that leaves a lot of room for how you get your continuing education. For NEHA credentials, it does not have to be a specific a meeting or a conference or whatnot. It can be something that you find maybe online or through some other avenue that maybe isn't as specific of a structure as going to a conference or a meeting or something to that extent. So if there are further questions, I'm happy to go into detail with anyone who wants to reach out and send those specific continuing education criteria. But really, we feel that, given that it's about an hour a month and the arena is wide open as far as what you're doing, as long as it's involved in environmental health. And, we think that there's enough resources there, hopefully, because again, it's so important that the credentialed professionals keep on learning and keep up with their learning.
Thanks so much, Sarah. This next question comes from the same member in Arizona. Sarah actually touched on a little bit of what he's asking, but I'm going to ask it again for maybe a little bit more detail. His question is NEHA going to provide other opportunities to earn CE units to maintain credentials that require 12 CE hours per year during the pandemic? And I am going to send this one over to Christy Denbrock. She's our Chief Learning Officer.
Thank you, Jonna. And again, that is a great question. We are happy to announce that the registration has opened yesterday for NEHA's Digital Defense Education for a Safer World. You will be able to receive over 15 credit hours CEs for attending that virtual conference. If you're not available during those 2 days, we will have those materials available through our system for up to at least 6 months afterwards.
You'll be able to receive over 15 credit hours CEs for attending that virtual conference. If you're not available during those 2 days, we will have those materials available through our system for up to at least 6 months. You'll be able to receive over 15.
I'm not sure I just heard myself recorded over myself. But again, if anyone has any questions, again, over 15 CE hours for the virtual conference, and they will be made available for at least 6 months after the conference, as well as we are continuing to meet and discussing additional options for CEs and education through multiple channels within NEHA.
Thank you, Christy. Sorry for that weird technical glitch. Our next question is another two-parter, and this one actually comes in from one of NEHA's affiliates, the Connecticut Environmental Health Association. So the first part of their question is, with the mounting responsibilities from the COVID-19 pandemic falling on the laps of local health departments, how can NEHA recognize the extraordinary efforts being made on the local level? Can we tie this into funding the chronically underfunded health departments across the country? And this one I'm giving to Doug Farquhar. He is our Director of Government Affairs.
Thank you very much, Jonna, for that question. What we are seeing out there across the country is that, yeah, it's been very much that the COVID-19 pandemic has been falling on not only local health departments, but the state health departments. It's really been something that's been an incredible burden that we have seen by these officials. One thing that we are trying to advance here when we are discussing this with elected officials is to really kind of bring forth the issue that the only way that we're going to be able to reopen the economy in the midst of COVID-19 is to ensuring that the environmental health community is well funded, is well supported, has the resources that they need, because for small businesses to reopen, they really do need to be working hand in hand with the environmental health community. And where we have seen problems emerge is where the business community have not been able to work with the environmental community hand in hand. Some of that has to do with the fact that the environmental health community is underfunded, it's understaffed. It's been facing a series of issues for some time now. One of the things that is often pointed out is that the environmental health workforce has never recovered from the 2008 economic downturn. And so we're starting at a situation where we're already behind the times. So with that being said, yes, that's the message we are going to be bringing forward to our elected officials and others within government relations is to say, to reopen the country is going to require a strong effort and a great deal of support to our state and local environmental health community, so they are able to work with the private sector to reopen the country.
All right, thank you, Doug. So this next is a second part, again from the Connecticut Environmental Health Association. The question is, can NEHA assist with highlighting our profession through media or marketing outlets and using that medium to recruit to our field? And that question is going to Dr. David Dijak. He's our Executive Director.
Thank you, Jonna. And this is a question I wish I could hand off to somebody else, but I guess ascending liability, it comes to me. There's two parts to my answer. The first part is that this is an issue that keeps us up late at night, but I am delighted to report that we believe in collaboration with our partner, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, that we will receive resources that will allow us to double the number of people that work in marketing and communications for the organization. So no one take my words out of context. We're going to double from 1 person to 2, but that's 100%, right? Increase. So we anticipate that by early September, we'll have 2 people working full time in marketing and communicating the value of environmental health, the value of the environmental health professional, and to ensure that news outlets have this information when they need it. The second major response I have to the question relates to our relationship with the Accreditation Council, the Environmental Health Accreditation Council that accredits environmental health programs, and their sister association, AHEP, the Association of Environmental Health Accredited Programs. Those two associations represent the interests of the incoming workforce. That would be students and early careers professionals. In addition, we have been in conversations with the American Academy of Sanitarians, AAS, and we feel that by engaging with EHAC, AHEP, and the Academy, that we can re-envision and revitalize the profession using the work of Brian Brooks and Justin Girding and their Uncover EH publications to identify what the needs of the profession are, to work across the broad landscape of the groups I just described, and for us to reinvigorate our branding and marketing efforts on behalf of the profession so that every environmental health professional in the country, whether in a territory or on the mainland or Hawaii or Alaska or working in the uniformed services, the value that they create and deliver every day to every aspect of our lives will be recognized by their constituencies and applauded for how we keep communities safe and secure, not only during times of COVID, during usual and customary day-to-day living as well. So I hope those two elements bring some satisfaction to the questioner. One is we're doubling our capacity, and number two, we are revitalizing our relationship with our sister organizations.
Thank you, Dave, for fielding the difficult questions. Our next question comes in from a member in Maryland. With the pandemic likely to go into next year, a vaccine not realized until next fall, and budgets being cut, will NEHA move to virtual conferences to accommodate the circumstances to help more members be able to attend? So before I turn this question over, I just wanted to say that this is a great question that I know a lot of you are thinking about. This question, honestly, much like the last, could have gone to almost anyone on NEHA staff because we all really work on conferences in some level. We are aware of the challenges that are looming in 2021, and we are working to be flexible and to accommodate our members with more virtual options. With that being said, the biggest conference that everyone knows about is our AEC. So I'm giving this question over to Angelica Ledesma. She's our AEC manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonna. This is kind of a big overarching question, but I will specifically talk about the AEC. We are actively monitoring what's going on, and we will continue to actively monitor just like we did this year for the AEC as we plan for 2021, both what's going on with COVID-19 as well as what we're seeing in the meeting and events industry. Keep in mind, we do get into contracts for AEC sites years in advance. So making a decision to either cancel a conference or move to 100% virtual conference, it's not a decision that we can take very lightly. As Dr. Oliver mentioned at the beginning of this, it was a decision made by the board of directors after a lot of back and forth on it this year. That being said, we do understand, we've heard time and time again in the last 45 minutes that continuing education is a high priority for members, and we will make sure that we are able to provide that continuing education. With the AEC, we are looking at doing an in-person conference with various virtual components. Now, whatever that looks like, we obviously won't know for several months still as we kind of evaluate what's going on with COVID-19. But we will keep members apprised of what's going on with the AEC, and we will make sure that we provide continuing education.
Thank you, Angelica. We have one final question, and it's another big one. The question comes in from a member in California. The pandemic has affected the operation of retail and wholesale food service operations at many levels. Food service operations may not return to business as normal in the near future. Is NEHA thinking about engaging in such a conversation with state and local jurisdictions? And if so, being an information resource along with others such as the Conference for Food Protection? And this one is going to Laura Wildley. She is our Senior Program Manager at our Programs and Partnership Development.
Thank you, Jana, and a very well-written question. We are living in a very uncertain and unsettling time, and a new normal, unfortunately, has yet to reveal itself. However, when it does, we at NEHA have the situational awareness and connections to surveil conditions and make recommendations to our constituents. So while this timely question has no certain answer, we are positioning ourselves to provide support and guidance. As mentioned to you by Dr. Oliver during her presentation, we've provided several resources to our members in response to COVID-19. We've created just-in-time trainings, built resource website pages for COVID-19, offered free e-learning, and connected our members with each other and with subject matter experts to share information on COVID. Additionally, NEHA is a sponsor of the Conference for Food Protection, and we have active relationships to include those with state, local, tribal, and territory entities. We're also part of the FDA-sponsored Food Safety Collaborative, which Dr. Oliver mentioned, where NEHA, AFDO, NACHO, and CFP are all working on various projects to combat foodborne illness. At the same time, we're engaging with our business and industry affiliate and our private industry members, which make up about 40% of our membership, so we can make sure that we remain abreast of the developments in the industry and gain an understanding of the challenges that they are facing from their perspective. Additionally, our Director of Government Affairs is actively monitoring food safety developments at the state and local level. He's got his finger on the pulse of legislative initiatives in real time, and we participate in discussions around food safety frequently, particularly when we're invited to do so by our state affiliates to ensure our environmental health profession is represented. As part of our ongoing conversation, we do look to hear from our members and our partners. We're conducting an environmental health workforce assessment and are inviting you all to share your contributions, your sacrifices, and your needs regarding your response to the pandemic. You can find invitations to participate as you interact with NEHA through our e-news and social media pages, and also on our website. The data that we're going to collect from this assessment will help us make informed decisions about what you all need, you, our members, at the state, the local, the private industry, in academia, what everybody needs. So we look forward to hearing from you, and we look forward to continuing the conversation as we respond to the new normal and to doing it together. So we're looking forward to providing support to all of you, support the environmental health profession, and thank you very much for that question.
Thank you so much, everyone. That is the conclusion of our question and answer. I did not receive any last-minute questions while this event was going on, but while we were playing the awards videos, I just want everyone to know that my email was blowing up with people saying congratulations to the award winners. Carolyn and Joe, your work has been really meaningful, obviously, to many people in the field. And I'm so glad that we have this opportunity in some small way to honor you today. Lastly, I just want to say thank you so much to all of the members who called in today and participated, to everyone who sent in a question, to our board and to our staff for answering the questions. To the members, NEHA staff is really working every day to try and make your jobs a little bit easier and a little bit better. It's not lost on us that you are out there in the field working hard every day in pretty difficult situations. So thank you for just taking some time today to listen in on NEHA's speech, and we hope that you will continue to send questions our way. The email for membership is up there on the screen. It's membership@neha.org. We will answer anything, anytime. So thank you for being here.